U.S. hospitals are required to publish a comprehensive file that lists the prices charged for each item and service they offer. These files are typically millions of rows of data, so they're too big to open in Excel or Google Sheets. Row Zero is a next-gen spreadsheet built for big data that makes it easy to open these large hospital standard charges files. In this video, we'll show how to find, open, and analyze these files. To start, let's go to Google and search for a file. So I've searched for Mayo Clinic standard charges file, and depending on your hospital, just put in your hospital name, standard charges file, and it should be the first result. If I scroll down, I see CMS price transparency, and CMS stands for Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and that is what's behind the rule that requires hospitals to publish this data. So if I click here, I'm going to scroll down to the Rochester, Minnesota file, and you can see here it says CMS price transparency machine readable file. These will typically be labeled as a machine readable file, and these are often CSV files. See, my file started to download, but this is a very big file, and I've already downloaded it, so I'm going to skip ahead and go to my Row Zero workbook. So I have a blank workbook here, and I'm going to import my file. So I go to Data, Import File, and I select my file. It's right here. And I'm going to get a preview with some options here on the right, depending on my needs and how I want to import it and where I want to import it. You can see my import is ready to go. It's 1.8 million rows. I click import and it's going to import automatically. And the first two rows here are descriptors. So this tells me the last time that this file was updated, which is July 1st, 2024, and some information about the hospital. Once I read that, I can delete these in order to make the file easier to work with. So let me delete these first two rows. And then I'm going to select all and insert a filter. And this file is pretty wide, and so it starts with a column for description, which is the item or procedure that you're looking at. There's a corresponding code, and then some additional information. Some of the things you want to pay attention to are the payer name, which is the health insurance company, the plan name associated with that company. There's a negotiated price that payer and plan combination negotiated with the hospital, and some additional information as well. You may also want to look at the standard gross charge, which is the list price effectively, and you don't see that for everything, but you will see that for medications typically. I'm going to freeze the first row to make it a little bit easier to work with since it's over a million rows. Freeze the first column too. And I want to just show an example and drill down to something pretty common here. So let's look at acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, and acetaminophen 325 milligram oral tablets is just regular strength Tylenol. And let's sort this on negotiated price. Okay. And so what you can see here is there's a very wide range of negotiated prices across payers and plans, which is pretty interesting to see. Next, I can create a pivot table. So if I select all my data and insert pivot table, put it on a new sheet. So I'm going to pull in description for my rows. And then for values, I'm going to look at the negotiated price. I'm going to pull this in a bunch of times, look at it a couple of different ways. So let's look at the count of how many distinct prices are charged across health plans and payers. I want to look at the min, median, and max, as well as the standard deviation. And then I need to put a filter on this because I noticed that there are some blanks in the data and I want to filter out the blanks. So let's make it be greater than 1 cent. Okay. And I can format my pivot table. So put it in currency. And let me clean up the standard deviation. Okay. And I want to filter to a specific item, so I'm going to filter back to acetaminophen and find that 325 milligram tablet, which is just standard strength Tylenol. And this shows that there are 16 different distinct prices charged across health plans and payers, and the prices range from a minimum of 20 cents to a max of 50 cents per pill, and a median of 47 cents with a standard deviation of 6. And I can very easily look for additional things. So let's look for common antibiotic amoxicillin, and the standard size of that is a 500 milligram capsule. Same thing, now that pops in, I get all of that data instantly. And just for one more example, let's look at a common procedure. So we'll look at appendectomy, and you can see the price range charged for that as well. So you can see it's very easy to quickly create a pivot table of these massive files and start to really drill into the data. If I skip ahead to a more built-out analysis, you can easily build multiple pivot tables, and you can also easily chart the data. And row zero is powerful enough to pull in these large files for multiple hospitals and compare. And this is where you really see a very wide range of prices charged and a significant upcharge compared to retail prices at Walmart or Cost Plus Drugs. And even zeroing in on something common like Tylenol reveals a wide range of prices across plans. Now, one important note is that anytime you compare items across these files, it may not be totally accurate because each file uses multiple codes and entries for the same item, but it gives you a ballpark idea of what's going on. As you can see, row zero makes it easy to work with very large files in a big data spreadsheet. You can try row zero for free at rowzero.io and see why row zero is the best spreadsheet for big data.